Well, expectations have been dashed, and that is the story of today. Markets and Tesla are both reacting just in a way that shows their disappointment with regard to the China trip. The Tesla story has always been key. That's what it is. It's the story. And like any good story, there are going to be highs and there are going to be lows. I can personally continue to believe that the key the key over these last 4 or 5 years has always been about what's happening with robotaxi. In 2025, we all expected the robotaxi moment. When it finally happened on June 22nd, it was, to put it mildly, a massive joy killer. A small fleet of cars and a safety driver, a rider in each one. Well, in late 2025, Elon projected a very substantial ramp of robotaxis without these riders. But here we are in May, and way less than hoped for. The stock went up to all-time highs on the promise and then dripped back down on the reality. The trip to China summit, that didn't it didn't come with any promises from Elon or from the president, but the community thought, and I thought, wow, this is the perfect time for Z to announce, or she to announce FSD fully available across China. Well, obviously that didn't happen. The stock had already been moving higher on the very, very good news about FSD and robotaxi, and then, of course, the vehicle sales, which were shocking. But the lack of a deal in China has pulled the rug out yet again. It won't take much for us to get back to all-time highs. Maybe 1,000 robotaxis without riders, maybe new cities opening up, maybe more than this before we get back to 500, or maybe a lot less than this based on the last few weeks. But while hardware sales still matter, the autonomous future is the overwhelming key to moving the market. Zacks is out with an article this morning that's kind of a funhouse mirror version of the post that I just this post that I just put up, this view that I just gave you. In their take, while investors would question they should be questioning the entire narrative that robotaxi will ever be the killer app that powers Tesla to the top of the leaderboard among autonomous ride share, and more importantly, the entire stock market. There are probably some who are jaded enough to think that we will never see, we'll have these 39 vehicles, no proof of concept there. They read the recent Reuters article and see issues with customer satisfaction, with time to get into the vehicle, with the pickup places and the drop-off spots not being perfect. And some of these people actually hope that Waymo wins the day. But then there are those Americans right now who hope that Iran wins. So what are you going to do? Wouldn't it just be their thinking is, wouldn't it just be the finger in the eye to the evil Elon and his merry band of sycophants if the robotaxi thing just never happened? Anyone who has FSD 14.3 or higher in their vehicle and uses it as part of their daily drives knows in their knower that the time is coming when the puzzle will get the final piece and the amazing future will be pictured completely. Let me know your thoughts. Which way are you thinking today? Ming, this Tesla Ming guy, he's coming out with really super information like every single day. He is now moving to the top of my group of people that I turn to get really good information about Tesla. It shows that the Semi is heading towards 15 billion in sales, and of course, around 3 billion in earnings if we hit that number. This would put Semi by itself at the top of among the top 1,000, the Tesla Semi by itself, rather, at the top of the 1,000 publicly traded companies on the market today. So what does Tesla Ming say exactly? According to their public data, there is now about 920 units already sold. This would be Watt EV, we reported last week, 370, UPS 125, Walmart 130, PepsiCo 100 units, Cisco Systems 50 units, Anheuser-Busch 40, Big F Transport 40, and then a couple of small ones, including FedEx at 20. Now, you add those up and you get to some significant numbers, but then you've got firms like DHL and JB Hunt that are running pilot programs right now, and we're likely to see a lot more units coming forward. Then there's going to be, I think, maybe smaller companies. We've got a new California promotional happening right now. I think it's 25, 75, $7,500 off. Anyway, I think there's not going to be any problem getting that to sell out everything that we can possibly make, maybe for years in advance. Now, I would say that Elon Musk put out a post today where Elon is measured in his opinion. He says, yes, I need to make SpaceX stay focused on making life multiplanetary and extending consciousness to the stars, not pandering to someone's BS quarterly earnings bonus. So this is Elon talking, mano a mano. No, even when we go public, it's still going to be all about the mission. Well, he was also, of course, involved the last couple of weeks in this trial with Sam Altman. The trial now has gone to the jury. The jury instructions were read today, and the jury is now out, as they say. The question really comes down, did Sam Altman steal a charity to enrich himself? To me, the answer seems obvious, and the closing arguments by Elon's attorneys were outstanding. We will see how that all comes down. I did do a poll this morning. It's hardly gotten any votes yet, so I don't know how much credence we can give to this, but did Sam Altman steal a charitable trust? 78% say yes. 11% say no, and 11% say above my pay grade. Well, okay, what about those midterms that are coming up? I did an analysis this morning. I asked Grok to do an analysis. Republicans are set to gain 11 seats from the redistricting. They had about 18 or 19 seats that they gained. The Democrats got about 7 or 11. So overall, that's a net 11, which of course is really 22 because you go up 11 and down 11. So you got 22 difference. Now, I'm going to say that, that puts the Republicans in a really, really, really solid place. But here's what Grok says. Expert raters like Sabado's Crystal Ball, Cook, etc., updated in May of 2026, says that there are dozens of competitive toss-up seats leaning towards Democrat flips, especially in the suburbs and districts sensitive to the national environment, meaning what happens between now and then, economically, politically, etc. The projections often show Democrats ending up with 220 to 230 seats. And of course, they need 213 in order to be in control. Well, if this is a good reading of where things stand now, and that's all that they're thinking the Democrats are going to end up with, I think this is Trump/Musk's election to use. You know that Elon Musk said last week he'll put the money up. Hopefully he'll put the brain power up. So this is so close that it's going to come down to money, ground game, AI, as it did last time, and some drastically improving numbers in the economy, which could lift the Republicans to victory. Senate, I think the Senate's clearly going to still be Republican, according to all the pundits, but the House seems like a toss-up to me, with maybe a slight lean to Republicans. Let's see. It says here that it pays to look longer term at the charts. Once in a while, put up your all-time or your 10-year or your 5-year charts on Tesla and just take a look at what the situation really is. You see, when you do that, you're going to find out that the vast, vast, vast majority of people that trade Tesla right now are in the money. They're doing extremely well. Some of them have become Teslaonaires, and they're still holding on to their stocks. You can look at the last week, you can look at the last month, you can look at year to date. Those are just time periods. Pick whatever you want to. Why wouldn't you pick the last 9 days or the last 2.5 months or possibly since last November instead of last December 31st? Well, it turns out, depending on what you pick, you can say, hey, we're up 50%. You pick something else, we're up 1,000%. And you pick something else, we're down 3% or 5% or 20%. But the vast majority, 𝐼𝐵 Basher, if you haven't seen that video, you should go back and check it out. 𝐼𝐵 Basher, showed that the vast majority of Tesla stock holders are doing very well right now and are in the green. And only a few at this point would have bought higher than this and are sitting on some losses, and those losses would be small. All right, so we talked about Elon Musk a few minutes ago. We want to bring him back up again. He was talking today about his net worth. He says or not his net worth, his value. Elon Musk reveals the brutal math behind a single hour of his time being worth $100 million. He says Tesla this year will do over 100 billion in revenue, so that's 2 billion a week. If I make slightly better decisions, I could affect the outcome by $1 billion. The marginal value of a better decision can easily be in the course of an hour, $100 million. You have to look at it on a percentage basis. If you look at it in absolute terms, I would never get any sleep. I just keep working and work my brain hotter, trying to get as much possible out of this meat computer. Well, I did the numbers for one of my books. I did them again just now with Grok's help. If you divide his net worth by the total of number of years it's taken to get here rather, and then you either use an 8-hour day or a 40-hour week, or you use an 80-hour week to come up with his total pay that he has generated for himself over that time period. Here's what you get. $12.4 million per hour, assuming a 40-hour week. And it drops all the way down to 6.2 million per hour if you're figuring an 80-hour week, which is maybe the normal week for Elon. So, he says 100 million now. Well, that could easily be because, he's worth a lot more with companies at this scale than he was with companies at the scale that they were 20 or 30 years ago. All right. So what else have we got here? We got prepare, it says, for an amazing future. The Empire State Manufacturing Survey was just released, and according to them, manufacturing activity in New York State grew strongly. The General Business Conditions Index rose 9 points to 19.6, its highest reading since April of 22. The New Orders Index rose 3 points to 22.7, its highest level in more than 4 years. The Shipments Index was little changed at 18.9, pointing to another solid increase in shipments. Unfilled orders increased for the 4th consecutive month. Well, if that's not enough, you could look at GDP Now. GDP Now was re-rated yesterday. It is now at 4%. That's the latest estimate, and there'll be another one coming out next week. How about the consumers, though? They're still not happy. What about those darn consumers? Consumer sentiment was essentially unchanged this month, coming in at a scant 1.6 index points below April's reading and comparable to the trough reached in June of 2022. While the expectations index inched up, current conditions fell back 9%, owing to a surge in concerns about high prices and personal finances, as well as buying conditions for most purchases. Real income real income expectations continued to decline as it was happening in March. It started in March. About 1/3 of consumers spontaneously mentioned gasoline prices, and about 30% mentioned tariffs. Well, what we got here with the University of Michigan, I've said it before, I'll say it again, biased pollsters, biased consumers, biased mix of those polls, and very small sample. Are consumers a bit uneasy? I think so, sure. But they're a lot better off than they on a absolutely, if you take a step back and just look at the overall picture, they're in a lot better place than they were 3 or 4 years ago under Biden. So I've got a problem here. I got to fix. Sorry for this. I'm in a different world right now with no editing, et cetera, et cetera. I'll be right. Given all that news, where do we end up right now? Well, we've got Tesla at 427.93. Let's call it 428. Actually, it just switched to 428 and some change. That is down 3.42% for the day after a down day yesterday, but it is up from where it was earlier in the morning. We have got the Dow Jones back under 50,000 at 49,625. That is down 0.87. NASDAQ down 0.70 and S&P down 0.68. Again, as I started this particular episode, we're basically seeing disappointment with the Trump-Xi meeting. I mean, obviously they're buds and they like each other, and they want to they claim they want to do all kinds of good things for both countries, but a little more meat would have been good. I think these two guys should have been able to come up with more meat. We've got Apple up a little bit this morning. Don't know why. NVIDIA down 1.93. We have got most of the Magnificent Seven is kind of 100% mixed. The VIX, by the way, staying under 80 at 17.92. Now, one of the things about the VIX is it's expecting maybe for this Iran situation to just kind of slowly come to a conclusion. For me, I would like to see a faster conclusion, but I think Bessent suggested yesterday that's just not going to be the case. Bessent's like, look, we just keep this blockade on. They can't handle it. They're going to have to give in. I'd rather see the U.S. Navy come in and take out the blockade. It would be more fun. It would send a stronger message. Um, we'll see. We'll see what happens. The Cathie Wood stocks are all down this morning, although more or less coming back up like Tesla. So you can kind of see the trends this morning there. I'm going to guess that bonds went up overnight, which is sad, 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 but let's take a look. We have got the 10-year up 13.6 basis points. We are now at 4.6. This is not good. Anyway, it's not surprising. It's not shocking, but it's not good. All right. Oil prices this morning also up $4 for Texas Intermediate, 338 for Brent. We're at 105 and 109. Natural gas up 2%, back to $2.95, staying under $3. I'd like to see it stay under $3. Gold is down 122. Again, recently, what we've seen with gold is if gold's down, it means the market is thinking that things are not great. See, 4% GDP now. Anyway, okay. So gold is up. I'm sorry, down 2.61. Silver crashing, literally crashing, 9.2%. Back down to 77.5. Now that's probably due to this really fast run up the other day. And now the profit taking coming in addition to a day when maybe it would be down anyway. Same thing with copper, though, down 4.67, not as much, but still significant. $6.30. I guess most people in the copper market would go, that's a good number. We have got the dollar climbing for the fifth straight day. And we have got Bitcoin down 2,000, but still just under 80. We got Ethereum down 3%, still over 2,000 at 2231. And those would be the total numbers this morning. I have no idea what shows are going to be coming up today. Everybody's traveling. Larry is traveling. Brian Wang is traveling, et cetera, et cetera. I'm hoping that there will be some good shows this weekend. Also, I believe we'll be seeing some of those on YouTube. Spread the word. I think we'll be back. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. It's been great talking to you.